Okay, Miss Chapa, how are you today?
I'm good, Miss Santiago. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. There's something that I want to talk to you about. I have noticed some challenges with your classroom culture, and since we're almost at the last uh, quadrimester of the year, there's gonna be a crunch up. We are going to practice today, and I'm gonna visit your classroom tomorrow for around
Okay.
20 minutes to see you practicing and what you have learned today.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
what I have learned, what I have seen every time I visited your classroom with your culture, out of your 18 students, around 13 are not engaged. So I want to help you with something small because I don't want to overwhelm you because we're almost at the end of the year, but I want you to grow from what I'm going to about to teach you.
Okay.
Like there's something called positive narration. It's not only going to help you with the culture, it's going to help you also with your behavior, and it's going to help you with your academics. And there are three things that I want you to take in consideration when you're doing the positive narration. Your positive narration, the first thing that you state is the expectation.
Okay.
Second, the name of the student. And third is the action of the student. With that said, I'm just going to do a little modeling for you.
Okay.
And I'm going to use you as an example. Okay, so I'm going to say, Miss Chapa. I always call you Miss Chapa. Miss Monica, thank you for writing your name on your paper. Let's say you have little Juanito next to him that doesn't write his name on the paper. Like Juanito's gonna say, "Oh, she got that." The teacher praised her, but you know you're not rating. And Juanito's gonna start writing his name. Another example. Let's say you're reading one of the stories that we read from our decodable. So let's say, Monica, I love the way you showed me the evidence from the story in your paper. You're not only stating the student name, you stated the expectation you wanted them to show you the evidence and what she did, the action. Now, Monica is doing it. What's going to happen to little Jose that it's near her? He's hearing, oh, that she got the praise because she's doing this. Jose is going to try to do it. And Monica's going to continue to do that expectation on all her work. But that also assists the other student near her to do the same expectation.
Okay. For sure. Like a
And I'm
domino
like, and you don't, you, and I know you have a large group, but you could start, let's say you have them in groups. You could start with the group. I'm like, let's say you're monitoring your room, and I'm like, and you notice once you walk, let's say by table 3, and you notice that table 3 is doing the expectation for that day. That's maybe writing your high frequency words in your notebook or the book that we use, and you say, Juanito, Monica, and Jose in table 3. I love the way you're writing the words of the high frequency words. You're gonna say it out loud while you're monitoring, and you're gonna see how the other students will also do the same.
For sure.
Even when you're doing the other thing that I noticed that the teachers practice is when they do their, you guys read the read out loud, then the students read on their own.
Yes.
And I'm like, and some of them are reading. I like when they read out loud, but they're reading the story that you tell them. And you're monitoring because to see who's reading or not, or just, and you notice that, let's say table 4 has John, Kanisha, and Maria, and you say, "Oh, Maria, Kanisha, and John, I love the way you're reading your book." You're gonna see how the other ones. I'm like, let me read. How am I supposed to? They correct their behavior and they meet the expectation you're setting for them. So would you like? Let's start by practicing because I wanna see you tomorrow. So
Okay.
let's practice. I'm like,
Okay.
remember, there are the three things that you have to take in: the expectation, the name,
And the student
and the action. Those are the three main things. And we're starting slow because we want you to grow in that area. If you remember, if your culture grows, your data is gonna grow as well because it both of them are tied. Culture and academics are tied. If you have a great culture, you create that great relationship with your students, that helps you grow. Okay, so I want you to take a minute for you to think about in that scenario where can you use this in your classroom, and I want you to model for me.
Okay, for sure. How about morning writing? When we do our morning writing.
Okay, do the morning writing. Okay, can you give me an example of how will you use your positive narration in your morning writing?
So once we have our morning writing, it's up on the board. It has the title morning writing. Number one, today's Thursday, March the 6th, comma, 2025, period. They write that, so as I'm walking around, I will put a check mark if they're doing that. So when they see that check, they notice, okay, I'm getting a check. Well, so and so got a check. I'm gonna get a check too. So that's when I think that's one of the things.
But I'm like, with your positive narration, you're stating it out loud. How would you state that out loud using your positive narration?
Oh, like telling that person that they're doing
Yeah,
it.
that positive narration is you telling the student, like I said, you said the expectation.
My expectation is
You
once
said
you
that-
eat your breakfast, we're gonna get our journals out. Once you get your journals out and your pencils out, we're gonna start writing our morning writing. So we have three sentences. The first one is, and we all say it together. Today is Thursday, March the 6th, 2025, period. And then number two is the weather is, and we state what the weather is, the temperature. And then the third sentence is, it could be somebody's birthday, or it could be tomorrow, or next week we'll be on spring break. And then once they write all that, they draw a picture.
Okay, so since you're doing it as a group, how would you state it? Let's say you said you do.
Oh, we do it
the
as a group.
date. You don't do it individually.
They do their own journal individually.
Okay, so how would you state that in a positive narration? So that way, let's say you have, like I said, because I know you have them set up in tables at your classroom. How would you do it if you want to model here? How would you?
I go in front of the board. I don't take them. I mean, I can take them to the back or the back table and do a small group.
But when you're telling me you do your morning writing as a group, they write with you at the rug, or
they write at their own desk.
Okay, so how would you model for me positive narration? Let's say let's use this one as a stage.
Okay.
And that's yours. Let's
Okay.
point the camera down.
Okay. Okay. So, let me get my glasses.
Don't worry, I will edit.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Once we finish eating, we're going to start on our morning writing. So once we do our morning writing, number one is on the board, and number one says, today is Thursday, March the 6th, 2025. And then number two, the weather is. We always look at the board to see what the temperature is. If it's 58 degrees, we literally have 58 degrees and a period. And the third sentence will be, next week will be spring break. Or so that way, that third one, they make a picture. So, and then I walk around to make sure they are doing it. And then, say, oh, okay, Monica, I love the way Monica is, she did her title, she put her name, she put the date, like that. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just make sure, and then once I see that they're doing it, I do a check mark. So everybody should have a check mark. And if they don't have a check mark, then during like after say like once we finish lunch, we come back, recess, before recess. If they didn't finish, that they need to finish that.
Okay. So let's use another scenario where you could use it. I gave you some examples, like for instance, when you do your high frequency words in the morning.
Okay.
Let's say you got 4 or 5 words,
Okay.
and I know the students are supposed to be writing those words
5 times each.
5 times each. Like how would you use your positive narration? Because I can model, for example, got Monica, John, and Jose, and here I got my other group. I'm walking around and I'm noticing as per the time goes, oh, that this group, I love like Monica, John, and Jose are writing their words in their journal. Or I don't know, I think that's what you have them in their journal. So that way, if this group is just like not doing it, this group is going, this one will set the expectation for the whole classroom.
Right. Right.
So can you model for me another
Yes.
example?
Yes. One would be our words, or and then when we do our stations, because when we are getting on our reading lab, when we do our reading lab, I have some in reading lab and some in their stations. Some are reading. Well, they want to all do that, but we have to take turns. So once I know that we're doing our iReady reading and our iReady, say like somebody has 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then we will I make sure that every 10 minutes that we have that time to do.
Okay, and then, so how will you use, remember, positive narration? This is what you're doing, and I'm going to go tomorrow and observe you.
Okay. I make sure that Monica is doing her iReady 10 minutes. Once she does her iReady 10 minutes, then once the ringer goes off, then since Monica has done her 10 minutes in reading on her iReady, then she'll be able to do her reading blocks. And she'll be able to, or her reading books. And when I do that positive narration, they all see, each table sees that table is doing it. And then they begin to do it as well.
Can you model it for me?
Yes. Okay. So Monica, Renee, and Jessica, once you have your 10 minutes, they're doing it. Oh, I see that Monica, Renee, and Jessica are doing their reading lab. And thank you for that. So once you finish that, once the ringer goes off, then you'll be able to go to your reading books, the 2 buckets here. And then once the 10 minutes are over, you'll be able to go on to the next one. After the books, and you can go to the blocks, the reading blocks. And with the reading blocks, you can you have your letters, so you're gonna make a word out of those number blocks. So once each table does that, then we'll do that every 10 minutes. That's, once you do that, and then the 3 are doing that.
Okay.
Then we'll do that every 10 minutes.
Okay. So I'll go visit you tomorrow.
Okay.
For 20 minutes to observe what we have learned today. Remember that I want you to go slow because I want you to grow this part of your culture. Like I said, that goes together with your data.